Good morning, everybody. Lee Brower here, and welcome to this week's edition of Meaningful Monday. I am grateful to be here, and I am glad to be here. Well, here we are, end of the year, crazy year, pandemic. Lori and I are experiencing now what it's like to be isolated with COVID, and I have to tell you, it's real. It's real, and so I'll kind of finish off with a secret around this. But anyway, I've always been a student of the brain and how the brain works. I've always been someone that wants to keep my brain active always. I subscribe to the theory, if you stop using certain body parts, Mother Nature wants them back. So how can I keep my brain working? Well, there's a great book called Keep Sharp, and it's by Dr. Sanjay Gupta. You've probably seen him on TV. He's on TV a lot. But he's a neurosurgeon. He's actually held brains in his hands, so I think he knows more about brains than many people know, and he's devoted his life to understanding the brain and how it works and how we can keep our brains sharp. And he gives us in his book Keep Sharp, he gives us 6 areas that we can focus in on. If we focus in on a regular and ongoing basis, we will keep our mind sharp. Can I share those with you just briefly? Exercise is one. What is good for the heart is good for the brain, only faster. So get up, move around. Don't be sitting. Ask yourself, should I be sitting? Can I be standing? What else can I do? Can I take the stairs? Develop a routine of exercise in your life. That's great. Obviously, the second one is diet. Eliminate highly processed foods, eliminate red meat as much as possible, eliminate sugar, but then add vegetables and add fruits, especially berries. Especially berries. Any one of the berries will work, but the more berries, the better. Third one is, I know for me, I kept thinking if I do anagrams, a lot of people do crossword puzzles, it's going to keep my brain sharp. But what happens is the brain plateaus. It doesn't get sharper, it gets kind of duller, it gets used to it. What the brain wants is to be challenged, for you to do many different things. And as we age, we start to challenge our brains less and less. So ask yourself, what challenges can I do with my brain? Can I go a different route this day? Can I do something that scares me? Get me out of my comfort zone. So actually ask yourself that and plan it in your schedule. You will be sharper. Your brain will be sharper. The next thing is sleep. And of course, sleep is when your brain takes your experiences and converts them to memories. Now, what good does it do to have experiences if we don't give our brains long enough time to put them in the memory banks where they belong? The fifth thing is social connections. And this is one where I get to work on a little harder, according to my wife, Lori. She says, I work too much, I need to have more social connections. So we're going to focus in on that this year. She promised me, if I would promise her, that she would help me out in some of the work things, if I would focus more on social connections. So we'll work on that. Social connections open the channels for joy. You can't have joy without other people. Other people is what brings joy. And then finally, the sixth one is just gratitude. Every sight you see, every sound you hear, everything you touch, every food you taste, every person you encounter, be in gratitude, be grateful. Now, can I give you my solution in one word? Okay, so if you take all of that, there's one word that I think, one thing that you can do every single day, and it's found right beneath your nose, and that is to smile. I learned it from my mother that no matter how bitter, no matter how tough, no matter what she was going through, she might have to excuse herself for a little while, but she'd come bursting back in the room with the biggest smile, and it was contagious to everybody around. And we now know, scientists tell us that just by smiling, just by us smiling, it automatically raises the endorphins and shoots dopamine and serotonin into our system. I know that when I've been climbing the tough hills and I think I can't make it to the top or I'm running, I found that just by smiling, even by myself, I get a burst of energy. It is contagious. And I've challenged people over the years where I've said, I bet I can get that parking lot attendant to smile. And sure enough, you get him to smile, and then you develop a friendship with them, and then all of a sudden things happen. The power of smiling. So add that to your list. Each day say, can I smile more? And in today's world where we're doing so many Zoom, you get to look right at yourself, and so that should be a good reminder. When you're looking at yourself in the Zoom conference, look at yourself and say, am I smiling? And put that smile on. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I know my smile is helping me get through this COVID that Lori and I are going through right now, our isolation. And it's a real deal. It is the real deal, but we're getting through it. Thank you for being with me this week. I look forward to talking to you next week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.